Hello. How's everyone doing? Yeah, so what's going on over here? Was that intentional?
You there? Hello?
You didn't think I was here?
Yeah, there we go. The intentional fake out. So,
I am here.
Thank you for the super sticker, Gary. I really appreciate it. The stickers are cool. They give us all kinds of options. So welcome to our weekly Geekly podcast live stream, remix, resurrection, revisited, revival. And we are live.
It's not long enough.
On a Sunday evening, I guess. I can't wait till it's still light out when we're doing this, because it gets dark now. Like by time we get into the spring, I'll still have light outside my window when we start these podcasts. So it's kind of fun. So I am joined today by my co-pilots in this ship we have here of geekdom. I have Syberninja over here, who is at the sword facility. It looks like he is working hard to protect us all.
Yes, I do want to say last week I was obviously feeling under the weather. Actually, some of you guys reached out to me on Twitter and through YouTube asking how I was feeling and hope that I was feeling better. I get migraines, guys. It wasn't the Rona. I really should have set out. I wanted to be here for you guys, but I don't even remember the last 15 minutes of the podcast, and I didn't wake back up when I went to sleep until Tuesday from last Sunday. So they suck when I get them, and I'm feeling a lot better this week, so hopefully the energy level from me will bring it up. But thank you guys for the best wishes. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was definitely, I think a lot of people noticed that you were just kind of not, you were not in the right place last week. So
6 out of 10.
Yeah. And we have Omega Weltall.
Oh, how y'all doing tonight?
Our trusty navigator and black mage and white mage and red mage and just all the mages. He's
any mage. Not just because I'm black. No. Pretty much in any RPG or MMORPG, I'm the mage.
Is that really the direction we were going with that?
No, screw it. Black mage is great.
I think everybody's familiar with what that is. That's
screw that. Black mage is great.
That's hilarious.
Currently suffering from artist block, but I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll think of something.
Well, there you go. And you were feeling fine last week. I mean, you said that you actually had a chance to speak because Cyber gave you a moment to speak last week.
Fine, shut the F up.
I'm going to have to change that this week.
Yeah. Gary with the 199 super chat out the gate. Is Black Lightning getting delayed later than February? Well, we are let me see, where's it at? I think it's the what's the date for it? I think it comes out on the 8th. So we are 1 week and some change away. So I'm going to say no. I mean, unless they come out at the last minute and say it's delayed, but I don't think they will. But thank you for the super chat. So Jaden here goes, I can't wait to hear what Cyber has to say about the SnyderCut. We're going to talk about that in a moment because there's a release date for it. So we're going to give that out. And then we're going to talk briefly about everybody's
so happy
thoughts and opinions on the SnyderCut.
Can't wait.
So
you just want to see a train wreck.
So
already saw it.
So do I.
I'm going to say how much more of a train wreck could it possibly be? The truth of the matter is, and we'll get into this, but the truth of the matter is, I don't think there's any direction to go but up, really. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that. So the topics for today, guys, we're going to get into these topics. Of course, we're going to be talking about WandaVision episode 4. We interrupt this program. That's going to be in the back half of the podcast. We're going to pretty much dedicate the entire last 30 minutes to that. So if you guys have any questions or comments about WandaVision, rein them in for a moment and we will get to them at the end. So there we go. We're going to talk a bit about some news. I believe Introverted Unicorn, you shared this link over on Twitter about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I bumped one of our other topics to talk about that one.
It's out of here.
Yeah.
We don't want it tossed.
Yeah.
It was breaking news, right? It was super important, but we saw that and we're like, you know what? Sorry, get it out of here.
We were going to talk about Spider-Man stuff, but we can hold off on that because that movie's still got
That's
a while to come out. So we'll talk about that when we get to that. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the SnyderCut a little bit at the beginning. So those are our 3 topics. And, of course, you guys can contribute to the topics by leaving stuff in the chat and doing super chats. So there we have it. Gary here with another super chat. He goes, is the Flash getting delayed later than March? Well, you just jinxed it. Gary.
Yes.
Because every time you've asked now, it's been pushed back.
Been pushed back. So, no, I think the show's fine. I think the show's fine. The movie is a different story.
The movie's supposed to start filming soon, by the way.
Not that was coming out in March anyway.
The movie is supposed to start filming soon anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into our first topic, and we're going to get this out of the way because I'm not sure what everybody's opinion is of it, but we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut for a moment. So the Snyder Cut of Justice League coming to HBO Max on March 18th. And it's kind of funny. I saw some people on Twitter asking for a director's cut of the Snyder Cut.
It's going to happen. It's going to be a train wreck.
I mean, is this the director's cut?
The director's cut? Yeah. Is this already the director? No, it's
no, because as soon as people start talking about the film and they're like, "Oh, this part was stupid," all of a sudden it's going to be like, "Oh, well, I wanted this in the film, but we didn't exactly have enough time to put it in the 4-hour film, and when we filmed it before, it just didn't come out right." So there was some really cool stuff in the film, guys, that we didn't get to put in there. So maybe there's a Snyder's cut out there somewhere. Get it trending.
Well, Shane says, could the Snyder Cut be worse than the already released film? I mean,
yeah, probably. I was like, this movie's all
fine, but no, it's a bad film. Snyder Cut's not going to matter. I will watch it though. I will watch it. I'll watch it when it comes out.
That's
all I'm going to say. That's it.
So here's the thing. I'm never, and if you guys have followed me on social media, you'll know I don't really get involved in these quote unquote movements. Like I don't really get just wrapped up in it. It's first of all, it's a lot of dedication. You have to be like constantly retweeting, constantly keeping up with everything that's going on. And I very, very rarely find anything compelling enough for me to get into it. The Justice League movie, especially based on all the stuff that went down with it, I was never someone that like was a champion of like, we need to get the Snyder Cut out there. I was never someone that didn't think it should exist either. Like I wasn't someone who said, it shouldn't come out.
I did.
So for me, I want to see what it is because honestly, just like Shane was saying, and like I've been saying for a while as well, I don't know if it can be any worse than the one that we actually got, because the one we got was a very cookie cutter, basic, like
by the numbers superhero movie. Yeah.
So Anthony here with the 1-9 super chat. Let's be honest, Justice League was hot garbage. So here's the thing. I don't think there's some people that probably think it's hot garbage, and that's fine. I don't think it was awful. I think it was mediocre. That's the thing.
I've seen worse movies, but this ain't good either.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like the movie it needed, I hate to say this, I think it needed more time. It was cut very short, and we didn't get a lot of the stuff that we were supposed to. It
needed to be 3 movies instead of just 1 4-hour movie.
It's bad.
Have both of you guys seen Aquaman?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Aquaman as a movie would have made more sense happening before Justice League, based on what the Aquaman that we got in the Justice League in the 2017 film, because that story's a little convoluted as well. The Superman story was super rushed. Super rushed. Because honestly, we should have got a Man of Steel 2 before we ever got BVS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with it. So when I say the movie was hot garbage, look, DC's characters I don't dislike. I watch a lot of the CW shows and I enjoy the animated films.
Animation's amazing.
They can do these stories right. The problem with Justice League, Snyder's cut, whatever other cut, the film in itself, as written, is missing so much more than it could actually have, that it leaves more cons than pros in a film that should have rivaled the Avengers.
Yeah,
that's literally what it boils down to. I can't in good conscience say this is a good film when I'm saying it's watchable.
Right.
You can mute your mic too, Omega. But when you saying, hey, I watched it, it was okay, and a film like that, Age of Ultron got destroyed because the film was mediocre. With as much stuff that was packed into that film. So this film should not get a pass. as their first attempt at this. They should have done it based on the formula that was already written by Marvel. I'm not saying DC should follow it letter by letter, but the formula was there and they didn't do it. The film sucked. Snyder says my film was better. They gave him a shot and it's gonna suck unless the film has been completely rewritten and we see the other films already put in place like in a row. It doesn't matter what they do to this film. It's gonna be trash. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's like you treat a comic book movie like a comic book series, one after the other. Marvel has already solved this.
Yeah. We had another super chat
Pagey, you could have 4,000 years. There's no fixing this film.
So, Crazy Cat Lady Gamer Reviewer, I will get to your super chat in just a moment because we're going to be getting into that in a bit, and I'd rather wait to do that during the actual topic, but I haven't forgotten. I've got you. I see where it is. What did Paige say here? Honestly, our biggest issue with theatrical cut was it was rushed. The Whedon version, better stuff. Man's best. Direct tones clash. Yeah, I mean, so I definitely agree with the Superman thing because I think we've had that discussion before. But see, I love Man of Steel. I'm one of those people that love that movie, and I know that a lot of people that love Superman don't find that to be a very appealing version of that character.
I think Henry Cavill is the best Superman.
Yeah, he's great.
I think he's a phenomenal Superman.
Shane, Geralt too.
Shane here. A lot of the movies are great. I think someone else, Amir here with the $5 super chat. DC animated are written better than the live action movies.
Absolutely.
Why would you not do that for the films? Like, I get it. Like, it's animated, so you think a lot of that stuff wouldn't transfer onto screen well, and that's probably true. But just in general, even in the standalone films, they don't assume their audience is stupid. So they put the stuff in the animated films and the people understand it and appreciate it. In the movies, it's just jumbled mess. It's just a mess.
It's for the lowest common denominator who's a freaking idiot.
Yeah. So, I mean, the original version of this movie, the 2017 version, there was just too many problems in production with it. It was just too many. And I really wonder what it would have been like had we received like the Zack Snyder movie originally, because now he technically gets a do-over. And I know people hate hearing that, but he has an opportunity to go in and really fix the things that he thought was wrong with the movie based on fan reception and combine his elements with it, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a do-over at all. I'm just saying that if it's bad now, like if it comes out and it's another bad film, I mean, what do we blame it on then? That's kind of the reality of it. Double Crit here with the $5 super chat. Maybe next we get the Whedon cut where Joss gets to do the entire movie using his vision. Eventually we'll be able to piece together a good movie.
Yeah, you have to watch 6 different versions of Justice League to get what would have been one good movie if they just did it right the first time.
Yeah, because I think the thing is Joss was working with a very limited amount of time and already filmed stuff. So I mean, what would have been his vision if he got to do it himself? Jenna here. Do y'all expect a lot of huge trailers come out next Sunday during the Super Bowl? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I actually overheard them saying a lot of people are not going to do what they did previously in the Super Bowl, where they spent all this time on premieres. But that was, I don't know. A lot of the sponsors buy that stuff in advance. So like that stuff is already done like before the
months,
the first,
sometimes
like right
years
after
ahead
the
of
Super
time.
Bowl's done, they already solidify their spot.
Yeah.
So anything that they would have gotten after Corona, they're not purchasing Super Bowl spots. But anything that would have been like huge that's already like done, they would have. Like I think like Bud Light and a lot of the beer stuff said that they aren't going all out with their commercials, but I think they didn't buy any spots except for 3 of their off-brand, not off-brand, it's Bud Light, but 3 of their other chains like Bud Light, whatever.
Other brands.
Right, but they're not doing like the big commercials like they normally do, and I don't think they're doing multiple commercials. So I feel like this Super Bowl is any commercials you see, like you're not going to see a lot of trailers for movies that are saying coming out in XYZ unless it was already filmed.
Right, I'm going to say, so if they got pushed back or changed, then they would have had to.
Right, so you probably might see some stuff from smaller companies, but I don't expect to see huge movie trailers. I could be wrong. That's just what I overheard watching the news. So my contacts did not tell me otherwise.
I'm going to address this now so it doesn't disappear from the screen, but I'm going to read it out so I can acknowledge that you super chatted. But we are going to talk about this during the WandaVision section.
Yeah, put it in that back pocket.
Yeah, Crazy Cat Lady Gamer review with the $5 super chat and a continued Team Eric member. Thank you so much. Like that we have present times and Darcy helped them realize they need to get old TVs. So I'm gonna hang a hat on this one because I have a comment about this that I think is kind of funny, but I feel like it would be wasted here since we're going to talk about it more later on. But thank you for the super chat. We're going to get to the Darcy stuff when we get to the WandaVision stuff.
I love Darcy.
Yeah,
I like it.
So
Kat Jennings is awesome.
Yeah. So let's go into the next topic. And this is one that I wanted to cover that was shared on Twitter. And I kind of want to cover it because I want to temper expectations a little bit. Now this is from a site that I've never read before.
I've never heard of this before. Why does it look like Twitch with GTA writing?
I know, right? I thought it was Twitch.
That's probably on purpose.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm going to say take this with the largest grain of salt you possibly can. Matter of fact, just like listen to us say it now and then forget about it. That's really what we're going to be doing here. So this is from Mikey Sutton's Geekosity. So this is the site. Go over and check it out. Don't know how legit this is. And again, I did not have time to research this because it was shared to us like right before we went on. So yes, Introverted Unicorn says, I don't know how accurate it is, but I thought it was interesting. And that's exactly why I want to address this because I want to make sure people understand this. It goes, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is being discussed to return to Disney Plus with new episodes and its previous continuity intact. According to insiders, the ABC live series could be resurrected with a number of its old casts brought back this time. The show will delve deeper into the MCU. Okay, so first of all, how much deeper can they dive? I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. covered some of the most obscure storylines we've had in the MCU. I mean, they covered characters like Absorbing Man. Like they've had characters that like
so good on TV though, right?
Right.
Just changing the topic right now. So good.
They've done so. How could you dive even deeper into that?
This person wrote it, editor in chief. This person wrote it like, I don't know, in crayon and then just printed it on paper. Like this is one of those things where it's like it's a flip of a coin whether it's going to actually happen. So like if we write this and it ends up happening, we can go, oh, we told you all the way back in January this is going to happen or whatever. I don't suspect we will see any revivals of any of the Marvel shows based on what they were. That includes Daredevil, that includes Luke Cage, that includes all these other shows. I think that division of what Marvel was doing is pretty much done. And based on the success and interest in WandaVision, they're gonna stick with what they're doing right now.
Which is a shame because I was really interested in seeing what happened after that last episode of Luke Cage, where he pretty much takes over the bar.
Luke Cage, all those. I wish they would come back. In my opinions, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if it means anything, it's just coming to Disney Plus. It'll come off of Netflix and go to Disney Plus.
Here's the thing, Cullen. I'm not going to argue against that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is some of the best superhero television we've ever had.
Up until the Framework season, the season after the Framework, it was some of the best written television ever, in my opinion, for superhero shows. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was amazing. After they went to the future, came back, I was not a fan of it, and I watched it out of loyalty. I did not like how it ended, but that's me. But everything up with the Framework and everything was absolutely amazing.
And I mean, we got, honestly, and people might argue against this because there's a lot of Nicolas Cage fans. We got the best Ghost Rider we've had on the show. I mean,
that movie is. We were going to do what doesn't hold up with that.
Oh boy,
we still could. We can revise that.
Watch them.
That may be coming to Eric Plus. That may be coming to Eric Plus. That's the new one.
I've never even seen that movie. I wanted to see it, but I just
there's a sequel.
I saw it in the theater. Yeah, I saw
them
both. I saw it in the theater.
Wow, my condolences.
It's bad. It's not good. It's awful. It's funny, but I like Nicolas Cage in a lot of things. This was not one of them. Yeah. But as far as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider was so good, man. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had so many good moments and written television, from the ground level agents all the way to space level combat, so to speak. the show was great, and it doesn't need to come back. I loved all the actors and actresses.
Here's 2 comments about the Ghost Rider show. So the Ghost Rider show was supposed to be connected to the Hellstrom series that we got on Hulu. Thank goodness it wasn't. If you watched Hellstrom, thank goodness it wasn't.
I didn't heard bad things about it. I didn't see about her bad things.
Hellstrom is literally a supernatural version of the Inhuman show. I mean, that's kind of what it was. It was just
wasn't you talk? Yeah, I think we were talking about this one time.
Mm-hmm. It's a show that was like, I'm like, this is a slow burn, and a slow burn just turned into nothing ever happening.
Just a fizzle.
It was literally the first season was there to set up the supernatural universe on Hulu with Ghost Rider and some of these other characters, and then it just never happened. Like they just decided against it. The Ghost Rider show, I think, would have been really good because Robbie Reyes and that whole storyline was very interesting.
So good. God, it was so good to watch how powerful Ghost Rider is on TV. It was great. It really was.
The one thing I loved about it, like, this is spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way, which go watch it. Go watch it. It's available on streaming. It's a great series from start to finish. Go watch it. Well, I say from start to finish. Season 5 is a little weird, but everything else I think is pretty good. Okay, so with that being said, though, I love that they tried to contain Ghost Rider. They're like, that can hold the Hulk. Ghost Rider's like, what?
I ain't the Hulk.
Because whatever Ghost Rider sets his sights on, it's a wrap. It's done. And so that's why that season was so compelling. And it ends up being really important at the end of the series as well. Because they did the whole chapter thing before a lot of people were doing it, where you got like these 8 episodes,
different arcs,
right?
Yeah,
and then you have the first arc, you have the second arc, you have the third arc, and then at the end of the third arc, it brings all 3 of them together. Oh God, it's so good. I want to go back and watch that season now.
I kind of feel like that's what they're doing with WandaVision in just a very short span of 20-minute episodes and only 9 episode. So
yeah. Hellstrom got canceled, by the way, guys. But I mean, you should have seen that coming. It was part of the old Marvel TV division, and they wanted to get. They had already done the season. It would have made no sense after they paid the money for the show to not put it on their service. But I don't think there was ever any chance of it getting a season 2 based on what we knew of it so far. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., though. Speaking of, how about Agents of S.W.O.R.D.? Can we get that, maybe?
I can't talk about them because I'm in the building.
S.H.I.E.L.D. was one of those things where, I know we're completely off on another tangent, I guess, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of those shows that started out, I think originally they wanted it to be a gateway tool between Marvel movies. I think that's what they originally were trying to do with the show, like create week-to-week stories, but then incorporate movie elements into the TV show so they could promote a movie that's coming out. Or
absolutely,
like
I agree with that. And then it organically just
because they realized they have these great characters that we're doing.
They nailed each character so well that they just. And I know Omega didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Some of it, like the first 3 episodes, then it was
the
rest wasn't on Netflix. I just didn't follow up.
It's really good TV, guys. You have to. It's at the beginning is slow because they're trying to find their footing. But once they find their footing, they hit the ground running, and it's absolute pleasure to watch.
I think the first season is tough because I don't think they really knew what they were trying to do with the show, or at least they had an idea and they didn't truly like the show organically gets better as it goes on. So it's really rough in the beginning, but
you have to get through that first. The until the first plot twist, the show is kind of mediocre.
But after that first plot twist,
the first plot twist, you're hooked forever.
Yeah, and I mean. Also, the one thing you have to remember is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a show that had a really high quality level, like the production value.
Oh, yeah. It was like Disney Plus budgets. It's really good.
You didn't see that kind of stuff on TV.
The last few seasons.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, like, I think the show did a really good job. And so I would love to see it come back, but I think it needs to be done.
I don't want to come back. I don't. There's no reason. There's no reason for it to come back. That story's told. S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone.
I would love to see Daisy come back, like Quake. You could bring Quake back in.
You could bring back characters
and Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo was awesome. You could bring back characters and have them fit. And they were such a high rank in S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. was pretty much done towards the end of the series. They were S.H.I.E.L.D. So if S.W.O.R.D. played Easter eggs to them or homage or called out to them for something, I think that would be kind of cool, but in this case, it doesn't. They haven't said. Well, we haven't got to WandaVision yet, so we'll hold off on that. But I don't think the show should come back. I think it was a great show. I think it ended poorly, but I don't think that was 100% their fault. So
Right.
I think it was more or less the show was just getting canceled.
Yeah. So I think we're caught up on our super chat. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do our break here. I'm going to give a shout out to my Team Eric members. And then we're going to do WandaVision. We're going to spend the last half of this podcast really talking about it because this week's episode so much. So I can't wait to talk about it. So shout out to Team Eric members coming up. If you do not see your name on this list, it's because I do them weekly. And so it's a week behind every time I do it. I guess, is that the best way to do it? I don't know. Either way, here we go. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back in just a minute. So you may be asking yourself, how do I become a Team Eric member and help support the channel? Well, it's actually quite simple. You head down below the video you're watching right now or any video on my channel, you click the join button and it pulls up a page where you can see all the perks available to you, custom badges, emojis, exclusive content, and early access. Then you click the join button. It's that simple and it does help support the channel. Become a Team Eric member today. Thank you. What?
Yeah, voiceovers.
Is that like a WandaVision moment with my commercial?
Let's not go that far. Let's just say that Team Eric money's up in the budget here.
Yeah, the song used in the break is great to twerk or chalk to.
Oh my God, this again.
Yeah. He had something else here. He goes, "This is funny, Pagey. Only one sugar return. Agents of Shield or Inhumans. That's easy. Agents of Shield.
Inhumans.
Yeah, definitely not that.
Is there anyone that liked the Inhumans show?
I'm curious about that myself. Anybody in the chat?
There's no way anyone could like that show. There's no way. It was so bad.
I think I saw like 2 episodes. Was like, nah, I'm done. I tap out.
It's so bad.
So the problem with that show was everything. All right, let's go ahead and move it to the next topic here. And I'm going to put this up now. WandaVision spoilers.
What? I haven't seen it yet.
Spoilers. Now, why are you watching this?
Spoilers.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So, wow. This episode was called "We Interrupt This Program," and what an interruption it was. We got so much stuff in this episode that tied to things outside of WandaVision. I mean, there were just so many things, so many questions, some stuff answered, but those answers led to more questions. Just first initial thoughts of this episode before we dive into it, you guys. What do you think compared to what we've had with the first 3 episodes?
Oh, this episode got me interested. If I wasn't hooked before, I'm reeling in now. I'm in, all in.
I think this is probably the
worst
nail in the coffin for the series. It's probably the worst episode of any show on Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu combined. I would recommend probably turning off the stream. What am I talking about? This was great. It was hype. I loved it.
I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to get to that.
Right? It was awful.
He got you. Got him.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get to that part.
Yeah. Just so much stuff. And I talk about this in my review, which, by the way, it's on early access right now. If you want to go watch my WandaVision rant review, early access for Team Eric members. I talk about this a bit in my review. I go dive a bit deeper into it, but I love backstory content. It is one of my favorite things. And I think part of that comes with my love for like role-playing games because I love to know details. I love to know these stories of the characters that we're with in these worlds.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what I'm not to go off subject too far, but that's what Discovery is missing for me. It's like backstory for everyone else besides just Michael freaking Burnham. But anyway, we're talking about WandaVision. But yeah, it's like how everything, all the other characters are kind of coming into play that were like side or secondary characters. They're not starting to get front and center.
Yeah. So go ahead. Cyber?
I was just going to say that's what Marvel does well with their TV series, because Agent Coulson was a side character in Avengers and ended up being a main character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So taking the characters from the movies and making them part of this show, and then making it to where one of them founded S.W.O.R.D. is so awesome. Actually,
because I forget her first name,
Maria,
but Maria Rambo.
Yeah,
she was just like a side character on Captain Marvel for like maybe a total of 10 minutes, and she's like, she pretty much was the founder of, like you said, of S.W.O.R.D. And then her daughter takes over, who was on screen.
Which actually makes, if you think about it, that makes so much sense, because Nick Fury was there, right?
Yeah,
and he was already he started the Avenger initiative there, right?
Yeah.
And then they already had S.H.I.E.L.D. in place, and then she decided to. They haven't gone into it; they might not, but it's cool that she created S.W.O.R.D. And I don't know, man. There's so much stuff there's so much to unpack in this episode,
right?
Of all the little stuff that happened. Jimmy being in there and doing the magic trick. Come on, guys.
It was a payoff. Like, it's like finally.
It was. And it also explained. Well, we'll get into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm
taking it over. I'm feeling better, chat. I'm just going to talk over everybody every time they start talking.
Yeah.
My favorite parts of the. No, I'm just kidding.
Amir, and I knew someone was going to ask this question, or at least I felt like somebody would ask it.
Oh, so we were talking about this earlier.
After one plays and they reappeared in the sky and just fell.
We were just talking about this. We were playing 7 Days to Die.
We were just before stream. Me and Omega were talking about this. They gone.
I'm not sure. Well, the thing was, I don't know. I think the problem is that Monica reappeared where she vanished, so that gives me the impression that that's how it works. But that how they did that?
No, because in Far From Home, when they were doing, wasn't the basketball game with Spider-Man? Didn't they all like? What am I visioning that wrong? Didn't they all come back in the middle of a basketball game and like screw everything up because everybody was like tripping over everybody?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember seeing that scene.
Yeah,
so
maybe. It's not.
I think they're gone.
Yeah,
people that were on the interstate, you're gone, because those cars were coming. It is what it is, and no matter what you do, Thanos gets the last laugh.
But here's the thing: I always wonder this. By the way, there would have been mass death because people would have vanished while driving vehicles and stuff like that. So, like, they would have killed other people in the process. Like,
and the snap came back. You still missing? There's a third of something gone.
Or do you appear in the car as it's parked?
No, because the car at the end of Endgame, helicopters were going into buildings. You want to appear back at that helicopter? It was on fire.
Yeah,
that helicopter ain't there no more.
What about things that don't even exist anymore, though? Like,
that's what it was, Shane. Yeah,
like, so that's crazy.
The band members returned back in the court. So yeah, you came back right where you were.
Cody with the $5 super chat. As a Team Eric member, many ties as to why Carol was the way she was. Yeah. So this is the thing. Anybody who did not pay attention to Captain Marvel as a movie, again, it's proving that movie is more important to the MCU than a lot of people thought it was going to be. It has connections that reach out quite far in that film. So let's talk about S.W.O.R.D. and what it stands for. It's right behind Cyber over there. So they've changed it from the comics. Now it stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. Thoughts on this? What do you think this could mean? They changed it. Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. What do you think the change means?
Go for it, Omega.
Because originally it was like they were in space. Right?
Yes, it was. That was more for the extraterrestrials, whereas S.H.I.E.L.D. was more for Earth.
Right. So now it seems like they're looking for Earthbound weapons that are either intelligent weapons, like things or people that know that they can cause mass destruction.
Yeah.
Things like Ultron, maybe mutants, maybe.
Yeah, I was just about to say mutants.
Yeah. So I mean, they made this change because I think
I know I did blow it.
Do you think it's because we've done so much in space already? They're like, we need to pull it in a little bit. And
try, probably because they probably went out in space all gun ho and everything, but then reality hit and was like, oh, we are not ready for space.
Right. So I'm thinking that this is their way of saying we can still put them in space, but we're going to start them out on Earth as an Earthbound organization or whatever. A lot of people have wondered why S.W.O.R.D. has never been brought up before in the MCU, and I'm like, because they're like the shadow organization. They're like the shadow version of S.H.I.E.L.D., really. So I'm thinking that's probably why. And chances are we're probably going to see Sword integrated in the MCU by getting flashbacks to things that they've been involved in over the years that we weren't aware of. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Maybe I think you'll probably see more. I think where they say that it directly ties into Doctor Strange, I think that there'll probably be more involvement with that. It was weird to me to see Jimmy Woo because he's FBI, and he was pretty much taking over where Sword was, and they used Darcy. And she came in, and they were just kind of like talking to her like she was a nobody. So as good as Sword seems to be, it looks like they're not as in the know as Shield was. I'm not sure, because Darcy would have definitely been somebody that Shield had on their radar because of the whole Thor thing.
Right. Speaking of Darcy, we'll go back to Crazy Cat Gamer Lady Reviewer's comment about the old TVs or whatever. I was thinking, like, she's asking these people to get her like an old television. All you had to do is look up like a retro gamer.
Yeah, I was like, go to a Melee
like
tournament.
Of them. I mean, Cyber's probably got like a half dozen at his
I
house.
have one.
I have in my garage right now, I'm not kidding, CRT televisions. I've probably have 25.
Not even exaggerating.
That's not an exexaggeration. I have a lot of retro consoles. Yeah, and that's in my garage. Here in the studio, I have two 32-inch CRT televisions. But you didn't even need CRT. I understand why they did that for the show, but you didn't need that for what they were doing. They literally, you can still to this day get rabbit ears from Walmart and hook it up to an HD TV and still look for any RF frequency that happens to be in the air.
Right,
so that's for the show, but it wasn't necessary.
I was even thinking, like, why don't you just go to a Smash tournament? They got plenty of them there.
So Hoodrat Pat here says, the ragtag team of scientists from different fields were weird to me. Just a plot device to introduce Darcy. I don't mind though. But I mean, so here's the thing. This is a nitpick that I don't really bother with. Even like somebody else made a comment about the FBI agent thing or whatever. When you're introducing characters, you're talking about red tape and paperwork and reasons and logistics for why characters are selected. I don't always care about that because I feel like they have to get to that point somehow. And that's something that I'm willing to overlook in most shows. Like if a character needs to be introduced and they're important to the plot, fair enough if they want to dive into more of the backstory, but I don't necessarily need it. So Darcy is a character who's been involved with so many things, and who doesn't want Jimmy Woo back? He was great.
I know, right? That guy's great. I like him.
Yeah, I see where Comic TV was talking about Fitz and Simmons were with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Here's the thing, right? It's so weird with the way Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ended. Like, would they be aware of this?
Yeah. On top of that, I think S.H.I.E.L.D., I think they're kind of doing their own thing. I don't think they're connected like this anymore. Like, I don't feel like they would be involved with this at all, really, but maybe. I mean, with the end of the series, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but at the end of the
that's
series,
why I'm not saying anything.
At S.H.I.E.L.D., it seems like that some of the characters were doing some different things. That doesn't mean they couldn't be involved, but some of them wouldn't make a lot of sense based on the way the series ended. But doesn't mean they can't ever come back. It is possible. Zoko here says, why the FBI sent an agent from California to Westfield instead of someone from anywhere local? Because maybe he was the right person for the job.
Yeah, it was a missing persons case, and I don't think the FBI has jurisdiction. Like I don't think they have, like, if that's your case, I'm pretty sure you can go anywhere. I don't think they'd be like, oh, we're going to give this to little Timmy in New York.
The first word in FBI is federal, guys. So that means the entire state, like the whole country. Like,
that's what I mean. So like him going there is fine. I think him taking over the investigation was a little weird.
Yeah. Ash for the $5 super chat. Jimmy Woo was there because of missing persons case located in Westfield, and he asked Sword to help investigate because the town was missing. Yeah, I didn't question it. I think people were just saying that him staying there and sort of being in charge of it, maybe that felt strange, because even Cyber mentioned that.
Yeah, like, I mean, where there other head guys in Sword? Like,
yeah, someone in chat just mentioned it was someone in witness protection, because they probably put Wanda there, and now the whole town's gone. Like, what's going on here?
That was the exact impression I got. Was that wrong?
No, I think that's probably right.
I thought that was what was going on. Are we confused there? I mean,
I think he even said, well, someone mentioned witness protection. I got to go back and watch the thing.
No, it was witness protection. That's what he said originally.
Yeah. So, maybe I missed something or whatever. I'm not too sure. So let's see. I'm going through some of my notes here.
I did not piece together any of the names. Chat, if you did, or if you guys actually looked up on like Easter eggs for WandaVision episode 4, which I have not done.
I have a note here. We met an agent named Tyler Hayward, and in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. there was a Brian Hayward who turned out to be a member of Hydra. So I don't know if that has anything to do with that. That's one of the like random.
Yeah, so I mean, like the names, I'm like, whoa, because I noticed that they purposely didn't talk about Agnes. I was waiting for them to pull her name up, and they didn't.
Right.
So
someone was working for Hydra, and then Vision says, "Well, that guy over there's a commie," and there's just kind of laughed it off.
So here's the thing, Zoko, you were asking questions that are going to be answered in other shows. Because we have other Disney shows, including the Avengers, and I'm pretty sure it's going to address why they weren't contacted.
But also, at this point, there is no Avengers.
No, there isn't. Yeah. But I mean, like we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier that they're off doing,
which was supposed to happen before
WandaVision. We don't know what the status of that is. We have the Hawkeye show where he's dealing with his family, so we have that. Captain America's not around anymore. The Hulk's not doing anything Hulk-like. He's basically intelligent. I'm just saying that these are questions that are going to get answered. I mean, we could say this about anything. You could be like, well, why is Captain Marvel fighting in her movie and Thor isn't coming to help her?
The Hulk wasn't at war for you?
Yeah, those are questions that you have to dismiss because it is a superhero property. You can't, that doesn't apply.
Yeah, because if you look at the comics, right, every time Spider-Man ever fights a villain in New York, you would say, well, why wasn't this person there? Or why wasn't this person there?
You have to suspend that sort of disbelief for these individual properties. It's just the way it is.
And also, you wouldn't always want that to be the answer. That would get kind of boring, right? Every time something happens,
every movie can be an Avengers movie. That's the thing. Yeah. Not every movie can be like the Avengers movie wouldn't mean so much if every single movie had all the Avengers in it.
Yeah. And the fact that she's not with the Avengers. Remember, she showed up at Endgame and was going to end Thanos, right? And then after it was over, she was at the funeral with Tony. All those people might have just said, look, we're done.
Right.
And went about their own business. Why would they be in the know? The only people that were in the know is S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Otherwise, they were just people.
The only people that we see that are still actively working as the Avengers right now, I think, is Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't think anybody else is,
because they would still be in the know. That's what I mean. Like Hawkeye retired.
Yeah.
Ant-Man was never a real Avenger.
Wanda was in witness protection. So
yeah, and think about it. Tony's gone.
And by the way, the government
not going to get involved.
Doesn't like the superheroes, guys. They're not buddy. So I don't think they would have them on speed dial.
The only one that would be on the know of stuff, keeping track of stuff was Doctor Strange. But if you remember in Endgame, he wasn't even aware of Thanos coming to Earth, so he's not really in the know.
Scarlet Witch is going to be in that movie, so they're going to address. They're going to address that. That will be addressed.
Yeah,
you're asking for answers to questions that they're playing the long game on. I'm not saying it's going to be a good answer. I'm saying I'm expecting there will be an answer for it. The last thing they want to do is have heroes fighting each other with all these powers. They're trying to handle it with human organizations. That's typically how they've done everything.
But you just have to think of it this way, and then we can get back to the actual review of the show. But you got to think about it this way, right? Those superheroes were literally briefed on situations. If no one's there to brief them, how would they know?
Right.
How would they know? They have no idea. And so this case here, no one outside of Jimmy Woo and Darcy even knew that Westview was having a problem because they said it didn't exist,
and because they had Wanda in witness protection. So the fact that at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, what if they get teleported to space or something? We don't know. They might not even be on Earth. Again, that was supposed to happen before WandaVision. So chronologically, we don't know.
We gotta pretend that that's not a thing.
Yeah, I get that's a criticism, but I got a feeling the questions will get answered. Okay. Ash for the $5 super chat. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is so non-canon it hurts. Look how they introduced the Inhumans as a pandemic level threat. No mention of them in the movies. I think we just have to forget the Inhumans was a thing.
That was written out. It didn't happen, even though they're so ingrained with Quake, but not really, because that was royal family.
Yeah, I mean the Inhumans royal family. On the show, though, if you remember, they tried their best to keep the Inhumans secret. Like they didn't make it. Like they didn't want that to get out. So there wasn't a lot of talk of it outside of the characters on the show that we had to deal with. And another thing is that's part of the reason why I think the show went on like a sideways timeline or whatever, the one we're in, because they wanted to be able to tell those stories without that threat level. But I don't know. I think we're getting a little sidetracked. Talking about like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. chronologically. So
it wasn't Wanda and Witness Protection. Apparently, it was somebody else. We got that.
Well, yeah, that for Jimmy Woo's part, but we don't know what happened with Wanda.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We don't know how she got there. We don't know why she's there. Right? Nobody said that.
Yeah. Well, then who was it? Because they've got everybody pinned up on the wall. So who was the person they were protecting?
That could be something that they still haven't said yet.
Yeah, we'll probably find the answer soon.
Did Jimmy Woo use the word he because that could have been just a throw off line?
I gotta look at the episode again.
All right,
I don't know.
Moving on. Maria Rambeau's name in Captain Marvel, and I guess some people forgot about this. Her call sign for her plane was Photon, like her flight call sign. Which is her character from the comic.
That was who she was in the comics, right?
So, so we had that. Let's see. They mentioned nanotech when they're walking through Sword, which obviously is the stuff that Stark was working on.
See, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, they mentioned that. These are all, I just tossed these notes in. Monica acknowledged that space is full of threats and allies, which is, she knows that because of her relationship with Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Fire win.
So this is one of the things I looked up, and maybe I'm wrong in the chat. I'll have to let me know. But in the comics, Wanda and Vision also moved to New Jersey. It's a different town, but the story does take place in New Jersey.
Yeah. It is Jersey, but I don't know, and the reason why is because the only person that could answer that is Wanda or whoever knows where she went, who hasn't been introduced in the show yet.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of skipping through my notes here.
So here's a question I want to ask. So when Rambeau went into WandaVision, was she playing a part, or was her mind changed? Did that ever get explained? Because
I can give my opinion on it. I don't know if it's been. I think she was being somewhat controlled until Wanda was distracted, and then while Wanda was distracted, she was able to.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's a bit of both. And then when she mentions Ultron, and that kind of just like click is like, wait, what?
Again, it was interesting because the clothes was changed, and this is probably just this is just nitpicking. I don't know for sure, but when Wanda literally changes what's happening around her, why would the sword emblem still show up?
Because I don't think she's doing it consciously all the time. I think
that's probably true. It could be organic. It could
because
be
the sword logo was still in the back of the Beekeeper's costume even after he changed. So I think that she changes things that fit within the time, but they still retain elements of what they actually were.
What they were, yeah.
I think.
I mean, it could be something that we don't know. Maybe it is Wanda, but somebody else is helping her. Maybe it's not just all
one
Wanda.
of the things I noticed on the wall where they had like people's information was Agnes. I don't think she had any information. Like they had everybody.
That's what they didn't say anything about her yet.
Yeah. So they went through and they saw all the people in town and had like pinned up what their names were and stuff. But for Agnes, there was nothing. Unless I totally missed it. Speaking of the drone, so something interesting here is the drone has S-57 on the side of it, and that was the first appearance that Vision made in Marvel Comics was Avengers 57. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
See, I love a lot of these little things. So one of the things I said about each episode leading up to this one is that there was so much happening, yet nothing was happening, and we needed questions answered. This one answered small theories about what we thought was already happening and kind of where we already assumed things were. A lot of the other stuff still hasn't been answered as to like why it's happening. And obviously that's going to be answered as it's going. But now that this episode's going, I'm curious to see Do you see anybody else maybe making an appearance? People think Quicksilver might make an appearance. People think that someone else from Darcy's movies or Thor movies might make an appearance. Do we see any of that? Because on IMDb, obviously, everything is not up there.
Right.
So,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we're probably gonna see some more people based on some of the rumors we heard of filming, and some of the people that were on set. And the fact that I think they're going to try and age the kids up to their 20s so they can be introduced as new heroes like Wicked and Speed. I think they want more characters, and this is literally the perfect way to do it, honestly.
So if she manifested them in that world, does that mean they can come? So another thing that I was going to say is when Rambeau came out, she was still wearing the same clothes from WandaVision. Does that mean if Vision walked out of there, he'd come back?
I think so. I think anybody that comes out of there comes out as they are.
But that would be so weird in terms of what she can do with her powers if she could just manifest.
Well, here's the thing.
People.
Her power comes from an Infinity Stone.
Yeah, that's true. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about cosmic level powers.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm just throwing things out there.
Yeah, let's say, does she have the Reality Stone powers?
No. Yeah. It was the... Which one was it? Was it space? She had the Tesseract.
I believe it was Loki's scepter.
They were messing with the scepter, right?
So I think it was the Mind Stone. Wanda told Vision they couldn't leave. I don't know if that's in reference to like meaning that they would get hunted down, or if that literally means they can't leave because Vision wouldn't be able to walk out.
He wouldn't exist. Yeah. So
I don't
maybe
know.
That's true.
It could be either. I mean, it could be either, honestly.
What if he does come out, but he comes back out as the like we saw the him where he was missing the stone?
Yeah.
What if she's just reanimating that and it's freaking moving? How creepy is that?
I want to say this. So Paige says they're going to talk about how Wanda dragged Vision's corpse into Westview. So a lot of people are saying that was symbolic, but I'm wondering if it's actually his vibranium body. Because remember, it's vibranium. His body was made of total vibranium, which means that.
Was his though? I thought that Ultron's. I don't remember.
No, they built him out of vibranium. That's why
I saw that movie a million times.
Well, the joke in the first episode was her husband's head was indestructible. So
yeah,
that was one of the jokes in the first episode.
Not according to Thanos when he was like,
I know. Yeah, but I think this is a nod. Do you guys remember in the comics? And maybe you do, maybe you don't. But there's a period of time that Vision was basically a ghost.
Yes,
he was just a white.
That's
ghost
yeah.
He was completely transparent,
which is what I thought when I thought in Infinity War when he was decimated twice, that he was just going to be rebuilt without the stone and not have the color.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
but
what do we think about Dottie? Because they were trying to like make it seem like maybe she had something to do with things when they're trying to break through on the radio.
I feel like, yeah, but I thought maybe she was the missing person. But if they said he, maybe it's Agnes's husband. I don't know.
Yeah, what someone in the chat mentioned, he never mentioned.
You're talking about
Ralph. He never shows up.
Ralph is never there.
It's Wreck-It Ralph, guys. Canon. Wreck-It Ralph, Rex WandaVision.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not totally sure about that. So yeah, Cody, I saw this. There's a scrapped in-game post-credit scene where Wanda finds the body bag. Yeah, and I don't know if they left that out because they're going to show it in a flashback on the series.
Ooh,
like what if they use it as a flashback to the series? That'd be kind of cool. Let's see what else in my notes here. Interestingly enough, the song at the end of episode 4 is, I believe, Jimi Hendrix "Voodoo Child."
Yeah, Voodoo Child. Which those lyrics are very fitting for. Kind of like what she is doing. That's weird. I love Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. So, and another question I saw in the chat was whether or not we think that Monica's going to get her photon powers somehow because of what's happening in WandaVision. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if she gets them because of Wanda, that's connected to the stones, which is literally how Captain Marvel got her powers as well. So I wouldn't be surprised at all.
So somebody was saying in the chat, I can't remember who it was, I apologize, was saying that I guess some of the next episode has already been leaked. I don't know if I'll go watch it. I probably will just because, so I haven't seen it, but I'm curious to see if we're going to just start seeing more of the bouncing between the two of Wanda's world and what's happening on the outside now that we know what's happening and trying to piece it together. If they're just going to try and stick with the sitcom, I think that's done. I think now that the bubble has been bursted, I don't think we're going back.
There still are sitcom elements. I don't think it's going to be like a whole episode of sitcom.
Yeah, inside when we see Wanda, of course. Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't think we're going to have a whole episode paying homage to. I mean, we might, but I think it's just going to be a portion of it.
So yes, it is leaked online, and I've tried to avoid it. I've seen a couple of screenshots and stuff. People really don't like waiting week to week for this. They really want all of it at one time. And
give it to me now.
That's because I feel like that's how this is supposed to be watched.
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be a week to week.
So Amir says Ralph is Mephisto.
Yeah,
I'm still not saying that that's not true. Like, I feel like that could be an option.
I don't know, but
I've seen people say Mephisto was never supposed to be on the show and he's not the bad guy. I'm not going to totally say that.
Here's the thing for me. I think that I don't want to say it's brilliant writing yet. And the reason why is because all they're doing is leaving information out. That doesn't make it brilliant writing. What makes it brilliant writing is when it all comes together, we can look back at it and say that makes sense.
But
so at the moment,
4 did pull things together, I think. Which I think
so far, it answered some questions as to what already happened, but how do they do it going forward in terms of why this is happening? So I'm still I'm way more vested now than I was in the first 3 episodes.
Because of this one? Because of this episode?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So anything else from this episode that you guys wanted, that's a burning thing you want to discuss? Or like maybe the fact that what was the relevance of the story agent turning into a that was from last week. The relevance of the agent turning into the beekeeper. Do you think there was any rhyme or reason to that? And the cable turning into a jump rope?
I think it's mainly
like a reality thing or whatever.
It's probably something. Yeah, it's probably something that it's fitting the time. That time period that's trying to mimic. Like that little drone that she flies in there. There weren't any drones in the 60s, so but a toy helicopter was.
Right. Yeah.
And that little cable wasn't in that. I mean, they had cables like that, but it wasn't used for things. It wasn't used for what it was used for. But so they changed it to what the closest approximation that it could have been.
What are your thoughts on them being able to watch this like a sitcom through the signal?
That's probably something because being that it's mimicking a television show, it's probably sending out those television signals because it's a television show.
Which is why I think that's being done subconsciously, because I think that's unintentional.
Yeah, that's probably completely unintentional.
Coming from my line of work, obviously, I know a little bit more in terms of it's not exactly accurate, but it's a superhero show, so I'm not gonna.
Here we go.
I understand it. I'm not going to. It's magic, guys, so it's fine.
Yeah, who cares?
We got a super chat here from Philip Meets Disney. What a cool name. $5 super chat. After episode 9 of WandaVision, how long until the Falcon and Winter Soldier releases? I hope immediately.
Yeah, really.
I think it's pretty soon after, right?
Because we have 4 other shows this year, so they have to be pretty close, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't remember the release date, but it should be pretty close. I don't know that. I just want more Marvel content, so I don't know timeline wise how it'll fit in, but I'm okay with everything is starting to get a little out there because of things being pushed back.
Would you say this episode is the first one that's actually felt like a Marvel show since Marvel has gone away? Like, I feel like this reminded me a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Here's why it did, and the reason why is because it was like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? But I think that the other stuff felt like Marvel. It was just they were purposely trying to be different, and it worked, but it wasn't answering anything. It was just giving you a different view on a sitcom. Like, it wasn't really doing anything. So the fact that it's actually progressing the story just makes it feel like Marvel, but it was definitely still watchable up in
what did happen to that guy? Because with Rambo, she just gets launched through the house. Right. Whatever happened to him?
He was
Was he Thanos snapped? Was he snapped?
He was pushed back into the sewer, and no one cares.
Yeah, I don't know.
No one cares. He's gone. I'm sorry, Unicorn. He's gone.
Ouch! Like, that's a shot. Shots fired to Canada Graphs. I don't even think he's in here right now. All right, there we go.
I've conversed a few times briefly with Canada Graphs on Twitter, so I don't know how his opinions are on shows. I haven't really I got to say the after party I watch, but not
so March 19th is the projected date for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't see that anywhere, so I'm guessing I missed that somehow.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That's the show I got Disney Plus for.
Right. So are you going to address the old? We did that already. We talked about the old TVs. We did a whole segment on that.
Yeah, I have like 30 of them in my garage.
Yeah,
we talked about it.
Yeah.
Is there something did you want us to elaborate more? Wanted to see him play Smash Brothers?
Yeah, maybe, possibly. All right. So this is we're going to give the 10-minute warning. This is a 10-minute warning on Super Chats.
Oh.
So I wanted to get a timer to put in here so that people could see how long they had for Super Chats. But yeah, so this to me really, really, really wait, Falcon the Winter Soldier comes out the day after the Snyder Cut. That's true.
Oh no. I wonder what will be better. A 20-minute episode with 5 minutes credit scenes or the 4-hour Snyder Cut film. That's a hard choice.
I'm going to say this. If you expect me to remember 20,000 different date changes for things off the top of my head, you put way more faith in my memory than I do myself. I mean,
yeah. And my sticky note that had all the dates on it, it fell off, and I just forgot to stick it back on my monitor. So
how many times has date changed on stuff? Come on now.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Thanks. Thanks. I got it. No, the sticky note. I didn't remember. I don't remember dates. I barely remember my birth date, guys. Don't. If we're asking you for information and you're giving it to us, we're thankful. You don't have to make us seem like we're horrible.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now in the chat, you guys have to do this as well. What would you guys score this week's episode of WandaVision on a scale of 1 to 10? Chat,
go ahead, Omega. I've been talking over you a lot, Omega. Go ahead.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
So what are you going to give it? What are you going to give it?
If you don't goddamn, I will.
What are you giving it?
Yeah.
What you give it to them? Tell them what they want, man. What's wrong with you?
Seeing some 8s, some 8.5, some 9 out of 10s.
I'm waiting for Omega to tell you guys what he gave it.
Oh, this is awesome. Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki are confirmed to be 40 to 50 minutes each.
Wait, really? See, again, chat. If I would have read that before, really? I probably would have said I'm hype about it, and then I would have forgot about it like the next week.
That's gonna feel like every episode is a movie. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm waiting for. But wait. But Falcon, but that's only 6 episodes, though, right? It's not 9 like WandaVision was.
Right.
So you gave it a 9 out of 10?
Yeah, I give it a straight up 9. It explained a lot of things. It left a lot of questions, and it grossed me even more.
10 out. So he's saying you can't top this episode, this whole season.
I think we can.
So here's the thing. If this was episode 1, right? Would it have the same impact with them saying they were doing a missing persons case and you didn't know that Wanda was in there until they announced it this episode? No. Would it still have been a 10 out of 10? No. Because it was answering other questions. Yeah. If they would have started with this episode, it would have left you with more questions. So I feel like this series, and I've said it every week, and I'll probably continue to say it until we're done, is hard to judge episode by episode basis. Yeah. But if I'm going to give it in terms of watchability, the first 2 were 5 out of 10s. The next one was a step up at a 6 out of 10. I feel like this one's ramping up the bar. So where would I put this one? I would put this one at an 8 out of 10. I think it hit a lot of points.
High praise.
But it was not like the best ever show I've seen.
It wasn't the best ever.
I think it was a fantastic episode for WandaVision, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
So based on what we saw in this episode, are you optimistic that the show is going to actually end with some big moments? Now,
I have put my faith into Marvel for everything, and they've only let me down a few times. So I will continue that trend until they disappoint me to the point where I'm like the Snyder Cut. So at this point, my faith is in Marvel. I think this show, as long as it doesn't leave me with too many questions, I can suspension of disbelief, the hoops I can jump through. Right now, I'm okay. I think it's good. I think that it's going to be a great jump start back into the new phase.
I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but Jaden asking the hard hitting questions there in the chat. So there we go.
Demonetized.
Not going to do it.
Okay, that's going to be weird.
Before we wrap this up.
Technically, though, already, I mean, there's 2 children there.
I know. So if you guys are interested in seeing my review a little bit early, you still have some time to see it early access. Make sure you hit the join button to become part of Team Eric. You also get custom badges and emojis. I'm going to be updating them. I've already added a couple of new ones. So there's a couple more coming this week. And you'll get exclusive content as we move through this year because there's so much coming out. I don't even know where to begin on half of the stuff. But if you're interested in any of that, make sure you hit the join button, and it helps support the channel as well. And come back if you missed anything to watch it on playback. I'll have timestamps down in the info box. So there we go. With that being said, guys, I want to say thank you to the co-pilots.
What did you give it?
So it's an 8 out. I think I said 8 out of 10, right?
Did he? I didn't hear him say 8 out of 10.
Anything.
Oh, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Okay, there we go.
No, 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, he's got to go a little bit higher than me, chat. He can't take it.
I'm gonna put it somewhere between an 8 and an 8.5.
And look, I gave it a 9 because I'm a huge sucker for visual effects and special effects, and they launched a person outside of house and outside the bubble, so I'm cool.
No, I didn't, Pagey, but you can send me one.
See my shirt? Look, it's a little. Look at that.
Oh, that's good.
That's a cool little shirt.
Syberninja here on twitch.tv /
Syberninja. You can find me there. I'll take over from here, Eric. If you guys want to on Tuesdays, you can check into the Coin Up conversation at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where me and a bunch of my friends sit down and we talk gaming content and old school arcade days. So if you're interested in those conversations, stop by. We do it for about an hour or so. And then through the rest of the week, we will be streaming games like 7 Days to Die, Phasmophobia, and Fortnite. So feel free to stop by, drop a follow. It's free. And if you miss any of that content, you can see it over on youtube.com/Syberninja when I decide to upload it.
Yes, they're all over there. I'm actually surprised. I looked at your channel and I was like, why are not more like there should be more people coming there to watch the live streams or your podcast. Because I was like, I guess you get people watching it live, they don't come back and watch it again, or maybe they didn't know it was there. I don't know. What about you, Omega? What's going on in your world? What do you want to let them know?
Mostly, I also stream on Twitch. Not that big of a channel, but I do stream some old school RPGs like the old Phantasy Star games, a little bit of Phantasy Star Online 2. Can't wait for New Genesis, and a little bit. I may start playing some more 14. I say I do, but I don't.
Yeah,
and
you should.
Dude, my heart belongs to Phantasy Star. Anyway, and also I make some 3D waifus on DZ Studio. So if you want to see that crap, go down to DeviantArt. Go to the DeviantArt page.
Info box when you come and watch it on playback, but you have to come back. Yeah. And watch it again on playback. And that's it for me, you guys. My WandaVision review again is up on early access. Look for my Batwoman review. It'll be out tomorrow. And then I will see everybody on Wednesday for the after party with Paige. Happens to be in the chat right now.
Got your snacks.
Yes, if I shouted out my OnlyFans. Not in this stream. That's for another stream.
I have an issue with OnlyFans.
Yeah, anyway. All right, we're out. We will see you guys next week with more WandaVision and geek conversation. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Later.